Hi there. Hi there. I'm Thomas, and in this video here, I'm going to show you how to use our workload budgeting and planning tool for checklists. So essentially, we're going to enable the module on this project. Then we're adding a checklist, and then we're doing some budgeting and performing some of the checklist, and then checking whether the planned budget is actually the correct one. This tool here is to be used on larger projects or during a bidding and tender process. So you can plan out when you're going to perform the checklist and the resource allocation. Then over time, as you start to perform those checklists, you can then control or using more or less time than the estimated one. You can quickly see if there's something that goes like out of bound or goes in the wrong direction, then you can flag it and you can go in and control it and do something about it. But let's get to it. So let's just move this friend over here and this friend over here. So first go into the project settings, go for the tools and modules, enable the checklist workload. So this one here. Doing that will reveal the checklist workload in the top left corner up here. Good. Let's add some checklists. We have something to work with. First, the asset overview. I've added 10 compressors before this little video here, 01 to 010. And they are eligible for mechanical completion, pre-com, cold, and hot commission. We will now dive into the types of assets. So that is where we're going to set up the assets on the project here. So we have the compressors at the top here. We're going to add a mechanical completion checklist. I'm just going to take this demo template and attach to it. Then we're going to select the pre-commissioning, take another demo template and attach to it. Then we're going to take a cold commissioning and also just a demo template. So every time we do this, we're setting up like for a compressor. When it goes through these different stages, then it will have these checklists attached to it. Of course, this will be your templates that will be assigned to it. When they've been added into the platform, we can edit them. And we're going to edit them now because clicking on this little pencil opens like the settings for the mechanical completion for this compressor. Going down in the advanced tab, then down here you see we have the work hours. So I'm going to estimate that each of these checklists here will be of 5 hours, like that. And we're going to do the same for the pre-commissioning. So setting that for 5 hours. And then for the cold commissioning here, that might be a bit longer. So that's going to take 10 hours. That's it. So now we have like set the backbone of the project with the defined checklist and how much time it will estimate it take to perform them. Then we will go over to the global test view. Within here, you see we have the mechanical, pre and cold commissioning, and then we have our compressors. So let's just assign some dates to this. So we're going to do it in bulk and a lot of mechanical completion today. And then for next week, we're going to do some pre-commissioning. And then for the week after that, there can be some cold commissioning. Good. That means now we also have like the date aspect. So the system has now planned these checklists to be performed over a period. Let's see how that looks before we dive in and actually start performing those checklists. So going to the checklist workload in the sidebar, opens up. Within here, you'll see we have some different tabs. We're now at the budget overview. Then we have workload, analytics and users, checklist, closeout tracker, some active sessions, some settings, and also the CX AI. But for the budget here, a short overview in the top, and then down here, you see you have the pre-commissioning that is scheduled to around 50 hours. Same for mechanical, and for the cold commissioning, we have 100. So that also goes in line with that. We estimated it was 5 hours on the pre and the mechanical. And on the cold, we had like 10 hours. In the workload planning, the next phase here, there we see how are these checklists actually spread out over time. We have all of the ones in today's state or this week here. Yeah, that's the first step for the mechanical. Then in the next week, it's the pre-commissioning. And then over here, we have the cold. As you also see, the planned, that is the gray ones, and as we start to perform these, they will go into green and start to overlap or go below. We also print in the trending graph. That's like the line graph that you see here, which you see on the right axis, y-axis over here, so cumulative values, whereas on the left side, that is the hours per week. And I'll just step quickly through the rest of these apps here. So the analytics, that will be like enriched with the individual users as we progress. The checklist, that will be for the individual checklist here. Then we have closeout tracker and active sessions and the settings. The settings over here has two main blocks. So the tracking up here, that's allows you to define how you want to track. You can track by count. So that's like one checklist, that is one, and so on. Whereas the second one here, the session, that is like the standard one, that is tracking by hours. That's way more detailed. Then the way to do the session tracking, there's three ways. You can disable it, and you can make the users manually turn it on and off. Or you can use like our automatic time tracker that would like automatically start and stop when the user like performs the checklist. Down here in the time budget, that is where you can do some default settings. Like if you don't want to like specify for each asset type how many hours each of the checklists will take, you can do a global setting here saying every checklist takes 5 hours. Specify some currency and then a day cutoff. The day cutoff here, yeah, it can be used if you know that the guys will go home every day at 6 o'clock. And when it hits 6 o'clock, like the checklist that's currently active, hasn't been like closed or paused, they will pause. So it's a way like to avoid having a checklist counting time all over the night. And when they meet in the next day, then, well, taking like 24 hours for the checklist, even though they went home 6 o'clock. Good. Let's perform a checklist here. So we're going to go into the global test view. And then we're going to go for a couple of checklists. I'm going to do them really quick in another tab here. So bear with me. That was the first one, like that. And then the second one, like this. So of course I'm cheating a bit by making these checklists very fast. Yeah, for the guys, it will of course take whatever time they need to take. But as you see here, now we have performed those checklists. And let's have a look what that looks like. So if we go back to the checklist workload area here, the budget. So mechanical completion in the middle here, you see that we have like scheduled 50 and the actual users is 10. If we go to workload planning, then you see that we're planning like for today and then the actual workload here in the green one. Then on the user level, then you have Thomas, me, the number of hours of this user and the number of hours on the checklists. You can also drill down into the individual ones. If you click on them, you see down here, then it's now spread out by the checklist, and it's always like showing you the checklist with most use time on the left side. So that's like compressor 01 and compressor 02, whereas compressor 03, well, that was quite faster, so only 1 hour, almost 2 hours here, and when I went 4 hours and 4 hours. Go for analysis of the checklist here. Then we start to be able to, not that fun yet, but when you start to have multiple checklists across multiple asset types, then you can start to see where we actually like losing time or gaining time on the checklists. So dive into that one. Let's just start one more checklist. Give me a second here. Because when I start to perform the checklist, I'll do it in another tab here. Active sessions. You see, there's no active sessions yet. Now I start a checklist in another tab. Refresh here, and then you see from this company, this user, that now has a checklist in progress. So that's like my way to keep track of all the checklists that's actually in current progress for the users on the platform here. So you will see where are the users working and how much time has actually elapsed on those checklists. You can of course also pause the checklist here, end of day. So you know everyone going home, then pause them. and access them here too. So the basis for the checklist workload here allows you to quickly get an insight in. So you can also click here and then you will drill down into that specific type, spread out on the checklist and where the time is actually spent. So for you, you will be able to do like a quiet, detailed bidding, plan out when the usage of the resources and the workload must be, and then continuously in real time keep track: are you actually online with your budget, or are you going to overuse or use less?